What does that process look like of actually using WhoHire and getting started?
Yeah, so it's an easy sign up process, and we just it's sort of a new tool for us because we just acquired WhoHire 2 months ago at this point. So
okay.
We had
nice.
we had to acquire that platform because all of the automations, like in our large enterprise companies, they're happy to just have the prediction model and they run inside their own ATS. But we found in some of the smaller businesses, they were still handling things in 3 or 4 systems, right? So they might be doing the application process in one and the assessment in another. So we brought it all together. But the process is you sign up. We're going to ask you what are your top 3 high turnover roles. When you land in the platform, we will have written those job descriptions for you. 2 weeks from now, we actually have the ability for an AI model to write that about your company. We're launching that in 2 weeks. But you much like you're posting on Indeed, you're going to fill out the job requirements. And what are your stages you want people to go through? So select the assessments that you want to use, and so then you'll have a job posting that we feed out to some of the job boards. You can also put it on your own job page.
Okay.
But we manage that entire process for you. So if you have a busy, here's an offer that I'll make for your listeners.
Okay.
If they sign in, and it's a 14-day free trial, so they don't have anything to lose.
Okay.
If they sign up and then they just send me an email, John, Jon, @whohire.com, I'll have one of my team members meet with them and set up the entire system for them to improve what they're currently doing or mirror what they're doing today if they're happy with it. Okay. That way they don't have to learn a new software. They don't have to spend any time setting it up. We'll get it done for them, and then we'll give them a tour. And if they like it, they can start using it.
Well, I think you're going to get some, you probably get someone to take you up on that. I got a couple of people in mind.
Well, they should, because it will absolutely transform their business. Like
wow.
When you can, here's our vision for WhoHire, and I won't say we're 100% there today, but we certainly will be with the end of the year. What I want to be able to enable for the SMB business owner is that, because we all hear you should always be hiring, right? You don't want to lose an employee and then all of a sudden you're hustling. But the reality is that pressure on a business owner is too much. So as soon as they fill their ranks, they sort of stop hiring. And they even keep mid-performers on the team because they can't imagine the workload that goes into replacing them. And then, sometimes the old saying, better the devil I have that I know than the one I don't know.
Yeah.
What I want to enable for people is that we're constantly posting and reposting their jobs automatically. And we do that today in WhoHire. We take the job posts down, we rewrite them and post them. It's automated. You don't have to touch it. I want to be able to do that and have candidates assessed, and we're interacting with them in very human, automated feeling text messages. We can do that today already. That allows them to only be notified when they have somebody that's applied that we are predicting is better than the middle person on their team today. Because now if I'm a business owner, that's the interview that I want to take. Right? Yeah. So you could always be having your salesperson roll in, your technician roles posted, and all of it's happening, interviewing them, sending rejection letters, we'll call you later, right? Tidying it up so it's protecting your reputation as a hiring entity in the community. But when you have that superstar that we're predicting is going to outperform everybody on your team, it'll alert you. And now all of a sudden you can pay attention, focus, bring 100% of your energy to hiring that role, and then go back to your business. So that's the long-term vision of being able to do that.
Wow. So I'd love to hear more on the business side of your actual business and, what the structure looks like, how it looks like on the back end, all that kind of stuff, and how you're growing, because you've got some pretty large competitors that I'm sure are going to want to dive into more of the AI side, places like Indeed and ZipRecruiter and all that kind of stuff, right? So
it's a crowded marketplace for sure. And that's why we're not setting ourselves up to be an ATS, right? An applicant tracking system. We do that and we're going to be great at that just because we have to. But our focus is really around building prediction models. And so we have IO psychologists on the team. We have ones we're contracted with that are
that's what I was going to ask. What does the team look like?
Yeah, that are helping us take the latest research And there's a lot of research around, but most of it's done in universities, and it ends up in really dry research papers, and it's not actually put into practice. And so we're actively monitoring the research that's being done, and then we take that in-house and we say, how can we construct this in a useful way for somebody to put into their business. And so we're creating assessments around particular traits based on the research. Then we have data scientists that are looking for how do we improve our data modeling. The story around Perception Predict is actually a really great story. When I came across them, I was keynoting at a conference in Florida for a sales conference, and one of their salespeople came up to me and said, "Hey, I've got this tool I want to talk to you about," because I had talked about assessments. And at the moment, I thought, "Oh yeah, I've heard that," and I sort of brushed him off. By the way, he wasn't a great salesperson. But
I don't know. You bought it.
Well, yeah.
Ultimately,
Martin, that's the number one error of a salesperson is they think they're great because somebody bought from them.
right.
Have you ever bought in spite of the salesperson?
Frequently.
Like a lot of times, right? Like sometimes I'm like,
yeah.
could you just get out of my way so I could buy this thing?
Yeah.
Anyway, so when I got to talk to the owners, they a really great story. The gal that started it is from Taiwan. Literally grew up in a rice paddy, no running water, no electricity. First of her family to go to college. She's a psychologist, data scientist, and has built an amazing platform. And really inspired me to get involved. So I came in as an equity partner. We relocated the company to be a U.S.-based company. Our team is around the world. So our CFO is in Prague. So we're really an international team. We have international clients. Our platform for our main platform is in 9 languages now. So we get a lot of data around those sort of things. But primarily the team, data scientists, IO psychologists, and we're still a very lean team, and of course our programmers to help bring it all together.
Very interesting.
Just for kind of a point of clarification, PerceptionPredict.ai is larger companies would come in and you would create something for them.
Yeah, custom for them. So if
Right.
you have if you're an enterprise company and you have 1,000 people doing a job, we're going to come in and build you a precise model.
Okay.
Specific to your company, not just to an industry.
Yeah, specific to your company. It's not an industry model.
Yeah.
Because we have enough data, right? And the value of a company-specific model is you can get really granular because now you're picking up on the culture of that company. So you've probably been inside a dysfunctional company, and there's been star employees inside a dysfunctional company. They operate well in that role. So our models will pick up on that and say, let's find people that can operate in what is that culture for that company. So that's the advantage. And we're doing that in home services as well. They're starting with the industry model. And then as they have 100 technicians, they'll reach out to us and say, hey, could we adapt this model or augment this model to bring in and be precise for our company? And so then we do that work with them. But it's a much more expensive engagement and a lot more work, but certainly worth doing.
And in contrast to Perception Predict, WhoHire is not as custom. It's industry specific, and smaller people can come in and take advantage of that.
Yeah,
They'll be working with industry specific data, but not
that's
company
right.
necessarily. Okay.
That's right. And so as we get more participants, so the models aren't static, so we're always refreshing those models because selling environment changes, that sort of thing. As an example, one of our enterprise customers in their mid-market role, when we went through COVID, they started completely selling, as everyone did, over Zoom or digitally. And that model for who they needed to hire changed by more than 70%. And so you can imagine as a hiring manager, they were still going along sort of looking for the same thing, evaluating the same thing. But the data suggested they needed to radically alter the kind of person that they were looking for. So even in our SMB platform, HVAC, plumbing, we're going to be continuing to refine those models. And as we get more users of the platform and more data, we start segmenting that by size of company. So if you were a contractor and you're a $10 million contractor, you're going to have a different family of fingerprints than somebody that's maybe a $2 million contractor, because there's a belief that we have, supported by data, that the kind of company is different at 2 million than 10 million than 20 million. And the kind of people that do well in those companies are sometimes also different. So we want to pick up on that. But that'll just be, as we get more data, we can be more granular. And in cases where we don't have a fingerprint, we do have some assessments that you can use that are more traditional, that'll help you around certain traits like grit, personality, that sort of thing.